permanently alongside our beautiful new Embrace monument in the 1965 Freedom Plaza. And there are many more every day in our community who we continue to lift up and learn from and carry the baton forward alongside. Finally, it is my job here to recognize there are many people who have contributed so much, but one person that I've gotten the chance to know in all different capacities throughout the years, and he's like kind of pops up here doing one thing, pops up here doing another thing, and then you realize, taking a step back, that it's actually all connected. All the work from first showing up as a young professionals organizer, making sure that the next generation was fully represented in spaces. We could have these intergenerational conversations, to coming and saying, okay, now we are creating a space for dialogue, whether it's about entertainment in the city, who belongs and who's welcome, or policies around housing and, you know, oh, we're going to just have a light conversation. You're chatting on the stool. It's live streamed to everyone. You're going to make these policy commitments. Chip Greenidge is someone whose leadership has been felt year after year in the city. And we are so lucky that you have come home after a period. And we want to celebrate you today. So it's just something very small, but
you go, you good.
And to Chip, for your outstanding commitment, dedication, and service to our young people of color through the Greatest Minds, a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting students in high school, college, and beyond, and most of all for being a community pillar for the City of Boston, an official certificate of recognition and gratitude.
So glad to be here today. Thank you, Mayor Michelle Wu, for those great words and support. I mean, it's been a long journey. I remember when I was 19 years old, and I came home from college, and I was living in Mission Hill. And with Gail, my stepmom, and my dad, and I realized that there needed to be more students going to the historically black colleges. So at 19 years old, I organized all my friends to go to all the Boston public high schools during our break to actually go to Jeremiah Burke, go to Dorchester High, go to English High, go to Boston Latin. There were 30, 40 of us that woke up every morning. And I know Gail and my dad would get all those calls. Remember, we didn't have cell phones back in the day, y'all. This is 1989. We had to do some old school organizing. But the commitment of all those young people with me who believed in my leadership at 19 years old to say we need to be out there as leaders was just an amazing thing. So I gotta thank all the thousands of young people, but also all the mentors and all the college students that were all born and raised here that wanted to show up and make sure that the other kids got an opportunity to see black excellence and that they can do it, all right? So I just want you guys to know that. Another thing, my family came here in the 1920s, so 1910. Reverend James Greenidge had a church on Cedar Street in Roxbury called the St. James Church, and he was the founder of that church. He was very good friends with Reverend Haynes and that family as well. But it's interesting is that his nephew, who I'm named after, George C. Greenidge, in 1953, he was a porter of something called the Pullman Company, which many African-American men were waiters. And my great-grandfather, Dad, he worked right over there at the Dad, what hotel was that over there? The Parker House. All right? He worked at the Parker House. But my George C. Greenidge, what he decided to do is that he realized that a lot of white men in 1953 were being passed over. He was being passed over by them. He would train them because he wanted to be a supervisor conductor. And what he decided to do in 1953, there was a new government agency called the Mass Commission Against Discrimination, and he filed a complaint. And after that complaint was reviewed, that he, in 1953, was able to reverse a 90-year ban that African Americans cannot be conductors. 1953. This is 1 year before Brown versus Board of Education. So as we look here and think about our namesakes, and I want everybody here to talk to your parents, talk to your grandparents, and hear about this history, because you have it in you too, okay? You do. I have two of my wonderful young women right here. Say hello, stand up. Tamika and Araya. They were like, we can come. Michelle, we'll cancel school today. We're coming, Chip. But I want to thank them and all, the 60 to 70 young people that I work with now with the greatest minds for thanking me for being in your lives and thanking me to be a mentor with many other people that are out there as well. So I just want to thank you for that. But let me bring you back forward, and as I close this out, because I know it's a long thing, is that I remember back in 1999, we organized something called the State of Young Black Boston. Mariama remembers that. She was a firecracker back then in high school as well. But it was us as 20 to 30 somethings wanting to make Boston our home. And we organized a huge conference at Roxbury Community College. 250 people showed up. And we pushed and pushed, thank you. And then we challenged Mayor Menino at the time to do something. I'm gonna say what he wrote. We had this conference and we told him he wasn't there, but we pushed him to say one thing. At this conference, we pushed and said that we want to be more welcomed in this city. At the time, Mayor Menino said to all of us that he didn't think that Boston was an unwelcoming city for blacks or any minority leader. And he thinks that opening more black clubs and restaurants could create more division. I thought we were trying to move away from that integrated city. That's what we want. You go to Atlanta, two groups don't meet. Mayor Menino said that if someone feels uncomfortable, it was because they think negatively. He said, occasionally, I go to Chef Lee's and I might be the only white person there. It's all mindset, he said. It's all mindset. He said this in the Boston Globe. After the great staff of Charlotte Ritchie, Juanita Wade, talked to him and said, we need to do a mea culpa here. He invited all 40 of us down to City Hall to have a conversation. And this is where we as young black professionals felt that we can have and push forward with a relationship. We demanded to be on more boards and more access to boards and things like that in the community. And you know what? That's what government is about listening and hearing and making sure that this building feels safe to have these conversations. So, Michelle Wu, Mayor Michelle Wu, you have shown us through your cabinet that this place can be a place for everybody. And I want to thank you for that, because that means that there's a lot of things that we can really do to make this city better. And you made sure that you got an A-list star of people to make this place a better place. So everyone, give it up for everybody right there. And the last thing I want to say is, really, when you give, someone told me you don't give until it hurts. Give until you see healing, okay? Keep on giving until you see that healing that happens. And I would be remiss, there are about hundreds and thousands of kids I've worked with over the last 30 years. And I'm so glad they're in your government. They're in schools. Sarita Thomas, Adina Thomas have run now the Trotter School. Tony Richards with all the great work. Shara Owens, all these different people. But they're here because they believed that someone can make a difference. And I want to thank them for their years of support of just saying, Chip, I'm going to show up with you, all right? And I just also want to thank, my mom is here. Mom, please stand up. My stepmom is here. Gail, please stand up. And my dad is here. Please stand up. Dad, 1, 2, 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. But I just want to, George Greenidge, Gail Grady Greenidge, Paulina Haywood Greenidge, Heard Burke, all right? I just want to thank you for always believing in my dreams, okay? Always, you know? You say, Chip's at it again, you know what I mean? My mom especially, I said, Mom, I want to go to the moon. Let's go, all right? And that's it. So I just want to thank everybody, and this is a true honor, and I'm so glad to be home.